After managing properties for 8 years and helping thousands of hosts build successful short-term rental businesses, I'm about to drop 40 brutal truths that most Airbnb gurus won't tell you. If you're struggling to make your Airbnb business work, this video might be hard to watch, but these are the exact truths that you need to be hearing coming into 2025. Let's dive in. Number one, most hosts are one bad guest away from total disaster. Look, I've gotten more than one message from hosts who just took a huge financial hit because they thought they were protected. Let me tell you something, that Airbnb host guarantee that you're relying on, it's not what you think it is. Just a few months ago, I had a client who faced over $20,000 in damages. Airbnb started giving them the runaround, and if they hadn't been properly prepared and gotten the right help, they would have taken a huge hit. Here's what you actually need: proper short-term rental insurance, not just regular homeowners, documented processes for everything, and a solid understanding of how air cover really works. Most hosts won't do this until it's too late. Don't be one of them. Number two, your market is already saturated and it's getting worse. Listen, I'm not trying to be negative, but here's the reality. According to AirDNA, the average market saw a 26% increase in new listings in 2023 alone. Think about that. That's like adding an entire new competitor every 4 properties. Going into uncharted territories with uncompetitive markets has its own set of risks and challenges. You need to be better than your competition, not try to avoid them. I see it every day in my consulting calls. Hosts who lack the proper systems are struggling to keep up with their competition, and hosts who actually have chops are eating their lunch. If you want to do well, you've got to put in effort and learn from the pros. Number 3, Airbnb doesn't have your best interest at heart. Look, I love Airbnb. They've created incredible opportunities for people like us. But let's get real. They're a publicly traded company with shareholders to please. I've watched them change algorithms overnight that killed established host bookings. I've seen them push prices down during high demand periods. I've seen them test new features that hurt superhost rankings. Remember this, Airbnb's goal isn't to make you money. Their goal is to make their shareholders money. And sometimes those goals are aligned, but often they're not. Number 4. Most hosts seriously underestimate their real costs. You think you know your numbers? Let me tell you what most hosts forget. Things like your time value, future repairs, proper insurance, and real tax implications. That profit that you think you're making, cut it in half in a lot of scenarios. That's your real number. And if your number scares you, good, it should. You need to know your numbers in order to fix them. Number 5, your cleaning team has more control over your success than you think. Stop treating your cleaners like they're replaceable. A bad cleaning team can destroy your business with bad reviews, while a great one can save you countless hours and headaches. I've seen entire short-term rental businesses collapse because they couldn't keep good cleaners around. Pay well, treat them right, and build real relationships. Or watch your business crumble one review at a time. Number 6, being booked solid means nothing if you're not profitable. High occupancy with low rates is a recipe for losing money quickly. I see hosts bragging about their 95% occupancy while they're barely breaking even. Every guest takes effort, every turnover costs money. If you're not making real profit on each booking, you're just working harder to lose money faster. Number 7, your pricing strategy is leaving thousands on the table. Most hosts are still pricing based on what their competition charges or what some automated tool tells them to. That's amateur hour. I've seen hosts double their revenue, not their bookings, their revenue, just by learning how to price properly. This isn't about raising rates everywhere. It's about understanding your market's real dynamics. Number 8, your rainy day fund isn't nearly big enough. Let me tell you a story. Had a client last summer, peak season, AC unit died completely. Cost $4,000. Parts took a week to arrive. That's $2,000 in canceled bookings on top of the repair. Most hosts are one major repair away from serious trouble. 3 to 6 months of operating expenses saved isn't a luxury. It's a bare minimum. Number 9, cheap furniture is more expensive in the long run. That $300 couch you bought to save money, you'll replace it 3 times before a quality one would have needed replacing. Those budget mattresses, they're killing your reviews. Stop thinking about the purchase price and start thinking about the cost per guest night. Quality pays for itself. Number 10, the DIY mindset is killing your profits. Just because you can do something yourself doesn't mean you should. I see hosts spending 3 hours fixing a toilet to save $200, completely ignoring that they could have used that time to make $1,000 improving their business. Number 11, one platform isn't enough. If you're only listed on Airbnb, you're one mistake away from disaster. This isn't 2015 anymore. You need to be on multiple platforms, building your own direct booking website and creating your own marketing channels. The most successful hosts I work with, they get at least 20% of their bookings outside of Airbnb. Number 12, Most hosts' market research isn't deep enough. You looked at other Airbnb listings and you think you've done your research? Think again. You have no idea what they're actually getting booked for, or how often their listing sits empty, or how seasonal fluctuations impact their bookings. I had a host reach out who bought a property that way. 9 months later, they were out of business and selling it at a loss. Don't let that be you. Number 13, your target market is not everyone. I hear this all the time. My place is perfect for everyone. No, it's not. And if you think it is, you're leaving money on the table. The most successful hosts I work with, they know exactly who they're targeting. They're not trying to appeal to families and business travelers and party groups and couples. Pick your lane and then dominate it. Number 14, your business systems are probably held together with duct tape. That collection of apps, spreadsheets, and manual processes won't scale. When something breaks, and it will break, your whole operation falls apart. Without proper systems, you'll hit a growth ceiling fast. And most hosts don't realize this until it's too late. Number 15, most hosts are playing checkers while the pros are playing chess. You're thinking about tonight's check-in while others are building out their long-term marketing strategy. You're worried about this week's bookings while others are building long-term assets. And speaking of playing chess instead of checkers, this is exactly why I created B&B Tribe. It's where serious hosts go to level up their game. Inside B&B Tribe, you get access to the exact tools and systems that the pros use, like our pricing optimization tool, ROI spreadsheet, and Listing Genius AI. Plus, you'll join a community of hosts who are playing the long game, just like you. Best part? It's just $49 a month. That's less than what most hosts lose on a single underpriced night. If you're ready to stop playing checkers and start playing chess, click the link down below at the top of the description. Now let's get back to these brutal truths, because there's a lot more that you really do need to hear. Number 16, training your team is more important than managing them. Stop micromanaging your cleaners and start training them properly. If you have to check every single detail, you've already failed. I see hosts spending hours checking their cleaners' work instead of creating systems that make those checks unnecessary. Number 17, your vendor relationships are make or break. You know when you really need a good plumber? At 11 p.m. on a Saturday when your guest calls about a leak. You know who's not picking up that call? The guy you haggled over $50 last month. Build relationships before you need them. Pay fair rates. Be the client that they want to help. Number 18. Most hosts create their own emergencies. That maintenance that you've been putting off, that backup cleaner you never hired, that security system that you kept meaning to install. These aren't just tasks on your to-do list, they're emergencies waiting to happen. Almost every unexpected crisis I see hosts deal with was completely predictable and preventable. Number 19, your property manager might be your biggest liability. They looked great in the interview, promised you the world, but now they're juggling too many properties and dropping balls left and right. Most large property managers are overworked, underpaid, and handling way too many properties. Quality drops dramatically above a certain property to manager ratio. Number 20, most hosts are terrible at delegation. You're probably the biggest bottleneck in your own business. You're still doing $15 an hour tasks while ignoring $500 an hour work. Want to know why you can't scale beyond 1 or 2 properties? Look in the mirror. You're probably still doing tasks you should have delegated months ago. Number 21, your response time matters more than your amenities. Guests will forgive a little bit of missing coffee, but they won't forgive slow responses to their messages. Quick, professional communication isn't optional anymore. If you're not responding within an hour during peak booking times, you're losing bookings, period, end of story. Number 22, most hosts are afraid to fire bad guests. You know that feeling in your gut when you get a booking request and something just feels off? There's a reason for that. Stop accepting bookings you know will be trouble just because you're afraid of empty nights. One bad guest can cost you way more than months of vacancies. Number 23, problem guests give warning signs early. If they're difficult before booking, they'll be difficult during their stay. If they're haggling over your nightly rate, they're probably going to complain about everything. Every horror story I hear from hosts started with red flags that they chose to ignore, so trust your gut. It's usually right. Number 24, your house rules are probably unenforceable. No parties. Okay, but what's your definition of a party? Quiet hours after 10 p.m. How are you actually monitoring that? No additional guests, but you don't have cameras at the entrances. If you can't verify or enforce a rule, then there's really no point in having it. Focus on what you can actually control. Number 25, most hosts ignore their biggest competitive advantage. You're not a hotel, stop trying to be one. Your biggest advantage is the ability to create unique, personal experiences. The most successful hosts I work with, they're not competing with Marriott on amenities, they're creating experiences that hotels just can't match. Number 26, your growth plans probably aren't realistic. Adding more properties without fixing problems in your current ones is a recipe for disaster. You think scaling will fix your problems? It's only going to amplify them. Systems first, growth second. Otherwise, you're just creating a bigger mess. Number 27, most hosts confuse activity with progress. You're busy all day answering messages, checking on cleaners, dealing with maintenance, but your business isn't growing. Sound familiar? Being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. Most hosts spend 90% of their time putting out fires instead of building systems to prevent them. Number 28, your business isn't as systemized as you think. Oh, I've got systems. Really? Let me ask you this. Could someone step in tomorrow and run your business exactly like you do? Do you have documented processes for every single task? You can't take a week off without checking your phone. You don't have systems, you have habits. Number 29, most hosts undervalue repeat guests. It's 5 times cheaper to get a repeat booking than to find a new guest. But what are you doing to encourage repeats? The most successful hosts I work with, 20 to 40% of their bookings are repeat guests. The average host, less than 5%. Number 30, building an audience is the only way to fully secure your business. If you're still relying solely on Airbnb for bookings, you're building your business on rented land. Email lists, social media following, direct booking websites, these aren't luxury items anymore. They're survival tools. 31, most hosts confuse investments with expenses. That professional photo shoot you've been putting off, that property management software that seems too expensive, that community that you've been thinking about joining, those aren't costs, they're investments. Most hosts are penny wise and pound foolish. Number 32, those minor issues that you're ignoring are gonna cost you. That dripping faucet, the sticky door, the squeaky floor, they're not just annoying, they're killing your reviews and your property value. Small maintenance problems compound quickly. What costs $100 to fix today could easily cost you $1,000 in a few months. Number 33, your listing photos are probably worse than you think. If you didn't hire a professional photographer who specialized in short-term rentals, you're losing bookings every single day. Those iPhone photos that you think are good enough, they're costing you thousands in lost bookings. Professional photos aren't an expense. They're an investment that pays for itself in literally weeks. Number 34, most hosts overvalue amenities and undervalue basics. You've got a fancy coffee machine, smart TVs in every room, and high-end appliances. Great. But how's your water pressure? How comfortable are your beds? How clean are your corners? Guests care more about cleanliness, comfort, and communication than your premium Netflix subscription. Number 35, you aren't as smart as you think you are. The industry is constantly changing and evolving, and if you stop learning, you're gonna be left behind. I see hosts who had success in 2021 still using the same strategies in 2025. What worked then won't work now. This business changes every single month. Number 36, Airbnb isn't passive income. If you got into this thinking it would be easy money, you're in for a rude awakening. Can you make it semi-passive by setting up the right systems? Sure. Is that gonna happen overnight? No. Number 37, not everyone is cut out for hospitality. If you find yourself constantly complaining about your guests, blaming them for issues, and shirking responsibility, hosting might not be for you. This is a hospitality business. If you can't be hospitable, you're gonna burn out fast. Number 38, your cancellation policy is probably too lenient. Being nice with cancellations isn't helping anyone. A clear, firm policy actually results in fewer problems and more reliable income. Stop letting people treat your property like a backup plan. Your mortgage isn't flexible, your cancellation policy shouldn't be either. Number 39, most hosts underestimate the importance of local relationships. Your neighbors can be your biggest advocates or your worst enemies. That local handyman, he could be your lifesaver or your nightmare. I've seen entire short-term rental businesses fail because they ignored their local community, especially their neighbors. Build relationships before you need them. Number 40, most hosts are working on the wrong things. You're focusing on today's check-in while ignoring your business strategy. You're shopping for throw pillows while your systems are falling apart. Success in this business isn't about working harder, it's about working on the right things at the right time. Look, I know some of these truths might have been hard to hear, but here's the thing. You don't need to figure all this out on your own. I spent years developing systems and strategies that help hosts avoid these exact pitfalls. And I put everything I've learned into something called B&B Tribe. B&B Tribe isn't just another course or community. It's your complete short-term rental success system. It's got world-class templates that save you hundreds of hours, plug and play automation systems. It's got our proprietary pricing optimization tool. It's got the listing optimization genius AI that writes high converting listings for you. It's got our spreadsheets that tell you the truth about your numbers. It's got live community calls where we solve real problems in real time. And here's the best part. You get all of this for just $49 a month. That's less than what most hosts spend on coffee each month. But don't just take my word for it. One of our members went from a couple bookings here and there to 3 to 5 bookings a day in just 2 weeks. Another member just landed their biggest booking ever, $31,000 for 17 nights. If you're ready to stop making these common mistakes and start building a real short-term rental business, click the link below and join B&B Tribe. And don't worry, if it's not for you, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. The hosts who will succeed in 2025 and beyond are the ones who take action now. Don't wait until these truths become expensive lessons. Join B&B Tribe today, and let's build your short-term rental business together the right way.